Most people don't notice it at first. Someone says your name in a conversation once, maybe twice, and it feels normal. But when a person keeps repeating your name more often than necessary, something subtle is happening beneath the surface of that interaction. Psychology suggests that the way people use your name can reveal more about their intentions, emotions, and social strategy than their words alone. Your name is not just a label, it is one of the most psychologically powerful sounds your brain can hear. When someone uses it repeatedly, it often carries meaning beyond simple communication. By the end, you will understand why people repeat your name in conversations, what it activates inside the brain, and how this small detail can signal attention, influence, emotional interest, or sometimes even subtle control. Human beings are deeply wired to respond to their own names. From childhood, the brain learns that hearing your name means someone is directing attention specifically toward you. This connection becomes automatic over time. Even in a crowded room filled with noise, your brain can instantly detect your name when someone says it. This phenomenon is known in psychology as the cocktail party effect. The brain constantly filters thousands of sounds, but it gives special priority to personally meaningful signals. Your name sits at the top of that priority list. When someone deliberately uses your name during conversation, it activates this attention system. Your brain becomes slightly more alert, more focused, and more emotionally engaged with the person speaking. This reaction happens quickly and often without conscious awareness. Think about the difference between someone saying, "Can you help with this?" versus, "Can you help with this, Sarah?" The message is the same, but the emotional tone changes immediately. The second version feels more direct and personal because it pulls your attention toward the interaction. Now here is where things become more interesting. Some people use your name frequently as a way of strengthening connection. In social psychology, using someone's name is often associated with rapport building. It signals recognition and personal attention, which naturally makes interactions feel warmer and more memorable. When someone remembers and uses your name often, it can create the feeling that you matter to them. This is why effective communicators, leaders, and skilled networkers often make a habit of repeating names during conversations. However, the psychological effect goes deeper than simple friendliness. Repeating someone's name subtly reinforces the emotional link between speaker and listener. Each time your brain hears your name, it briefly recenters the conversation around you. This raises an interesting question. Have you ever noticed how certain people say your name more often when they want something from you? This is not always manipulation, but it is often strategic. In persuasive communication, using someone's name can increase cooperation and openness. Because your brain associates your name with identity and attention, it creates a small moment of psychological engagement each time it is spoken. Sales professionals, negotiators, and skilled communicators are often trained to use names carefully for this reason. It keeps the listener mentally present and emotionally connected to the interaction. But repetition can also signal something more personal. In many social situations, people unconsciously repeat someone's name when they feel drawn towards them. Attraction, admiration, or emotional curiosity can all increase how often a person says another person's name. When the brain becomes interested in someone, it pays closer attention to details connected to them. Their name becomes part of that mental focus. Saying it during conversation can feel natural because the person occupies more psychological space in the mind. This is why you may notice that someone who likes you tends to say your name slightly more often than others do. It may appear in greetings, questions, or small pauses in conversation. The repetition is usually subtle, but it often reflects genuine interest. At the same time, there's another psychological layer worth noticing. Sometimes repeating someone's name creates a sense of familiarity that feels stronger than the relationship actually is.
When someone uses your name frequently, the interaction can feel more personal than it might otherwise be. This effect can build quick rapport, especially in new relationships or professional environments. But if the repetition becomes excessive, the brain may begin to sense something unusual. Conversations usually flow naturally without constant name repetition. When someone uses your name in nearly every sentence, it can start to feel unnatural. Your intuition may quietly notice this shift, even if you cannot immediately explain it. The brain is extremely sensitive to conversational patterns, and it recognizes when language is being used with unusual frequency or emphasis. So, the real insight lies in balance. Using someone's name occasionally can strengthen connection and attention, but using it too frequently can sometimes signal intentional persuasion or an attempt to guide the emotional tone of the conversation. Consider another subtle situation. During moments of tension or disagreement, people sometimes repeat a name to regain emotional control of the interaction. Saying a name can slow the conversation and redirect focus toward the person rather than the conflict itself. For example, imagine someone saying, "Listen, Michael, I understand what you're saying." In this moment, the name acts almost like a reset signal. It softens the tone while also reasserting attention. Your brain interprets the name as a direct appeal to your identity, which can reduce emotional distance during the discussion. But there is a deeper psychological effect happening in the background. Hearing your own name activates areas of the brain connected to self-processing. These areas are involved in how you perceive yourself and how you evaluate social information. Because of this, hearing your name can momentarily pull your attention inward. You become slightly more aware of your role in the conversation and more responsive to what is being said. Now consider a different question. When you hear your name repeatedly from the same person, how does it change the way you perceive them? In many cases, it increases familiarity and trust. The mind interprets name usage as recognition, and recognition is closely tied to social bonding. People naturally gravitate toward interactions where they feel acknowledged. But context always matters. The same behavior can signal warmth, attraction, persuasion, or simply good communication habits, depending on the situation. This is why paying attention to tone, body language, and timing is important. Someone who says your name occasionally during natural conversation may simply be showing attentiveness. Someone who repeats it constantly may be trying to maintain influence over the interaction. Neither interpretation is automatically negative. Human communication is complex, and small details often carry multiple meanings at once. The key insight is that names hold emotional power. They are tied to identity, attention, and personal recognition. When someone uses your name, your brain responds in ways that are deeper than the simple sound itself. This explains why hearing your name in a crowded room instantly captures your attention. It explains why conversations feel more personal when someone addresses you directly. And it explains why repeating a name can shape the emotional tone of an interaction. So, the next time someone says your name several times during a conversation, pause and notice how it feels. Does it make the interaction warmer and more engaging? Or does it feel slightly calculated? Understanding these subtle signals helps reveal how human behavior operates beneath the surface of everyday communication. Small details often carry the most powerful psychological meaning, and once you become aware of them, conversations begin to look very different. If you have ever noticed someone repeating your name in a way that stood out to you, reflect on what the situation revealed about the interaction. These patterns can offer surprising insight into attention, attraction, and influence. Share your thoughts about these subtle psychological signals and continue exploring the hidden patterns that shape how people connect with each other.